Hello, welcome to Studio Q 2006. It's nice to be back with you for a brand new year, and as usual, as we have done the last couple of years, we open the year with a look at the top-notch films from the Queer Film Festival. And I'm joined with the old crew, Auntie H.
Hi.
And Mr. Mark Rule.
Hello.
How are you?
Nifty.
That's good.
How are you?
Oh, we're good. We're good to be. Are you glad to be back for another one?
Well, you know, it's been quite a challenge this year for many reasons, and you'll find out soon.
Well,
Yeah.
Indeed. You mean in terms of wading through all this celluloid?
Yes, wading through and almost just, no, I won't say sleeping. No.
No, we don't do that. We promote, we talk them up, we promote them. We're encouraging people to view them, not to actually stay away in droves. That was
I'm joking.
Tongue in cheek, see? No. We're actually in the closing stages of the festival. Started, it's only got another 3 days to go. So have a look at your guide, and we will run you through some of the tidbits of the last few days. We've been viewing madly the last few nights.
We have.
Square eyes.
Indeed, and the last few days.
Lots of popcorn.
Cop porn.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
popcorn.
know.
Sorry, I'm dyslexic.
It's always rude.
And the last few days are as multicultural as the first few days. We had films from Switzerland, films from the Philippines, Serbia. I had a look at a fabulous girl flick from Serbia, Disi Duboko, which translates as Take a Deep Breath.
I wonder why you have to do that.
Well, I'm not going there, but I actually really enjoyed it. I don't know, I don't mind some of the girl flicks if they're a bit meaty, so to speak.
You like a meaty girl
I
flick?
like them intellectual myself.
Well, that's what I mean. In metaphorically meaty, you see. And this one was. It was these two girls, one who actually fell for the sister of her boyfriend. Does that make sense?
The sister of...
She was dating a fellow called Stefan,
Yes.
got injured in a car crash, and while he was out of action, she sort of moved in with his sister, and lo and behold, fell hook, line and sinker. But
It's a real fishy tale.
indeed, don't go there. But it's not just about their journey. In fact, what struck me about it is it's just as much, if not more so, about her father's journey. The girl who finds out she's gay, it's as much about the father's journey, and in a way the mother's, but the father's journey as much as her own.
Is he gay?
Well,
We can't tell you at all.
We
but
can't give too much
that's on
away.
next week, isn't it?
it is. That one is on. Yeah, that one's on Sunday the 12th of March, 6 p.m. That's session 82. Take a deep breath. And it is, as I say, multi-layered. It looks, first of all, like it's going to be a sort of traditional...
Why aren't you perspiring like me?
I am. I'm flooding.
Hiding in the studio.
But it is a tragedy on the father's part. He basically remains unfulfilled, shall we say.
Oh no, you've got to be fulfilled.
And he's been in a loveless marriage with his wife for about 20 years.
Okay. So it's one to look for.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
And how did you find the subtitles? Was that
Well,
easy?
it's... Oh, yeah, that's fine. I don't mind subtitles at all.
No, I've got my own story about subtitles
Have you?
coming up.
Well,
Yes.
have you watched anything with subtitles
I
this year?
certainly did.
Oh, yes? What have you been having a look at?
Was it Sevigne?
Sevigne, yeah.
A Spanish movie about an actress slash art director who
Oh, I
has
thought you were saying it was a slash film for a second, but anyway.
taken notice of, has just discovered a new play. The new play has been written by a lovely woman who took 7 years to write this play. Anyway, they come together in the best possible way. It's a creative joining, really. However, there are stories within stories within stories. The romance is amazing, and it comes from the playwright herself. That romance, she actually does fall in love with the other woman, Julia. But Julia is playing games. You know,
There's a lot of those
people that
about.
play games.
There's a lot of those about.
And of course, I can't let you know exactly how this turns out, but there is this most magnificent scene towards the end, which is worth the whole of the movie. And it was where Julia finally realises her own emotional depth, her own emotional denial of many aspects in her life. And that's where I'm going to leave it, because
There's no spoilers here. No spoilers here.
You need to see this movie for those very last, say, or 15 minutes. It's worth it.
So is this more drama than a comedy, or?
Oh, it's not a comedy.
Because some of
but
the
it's a
Spanish
definite
comedies are brilliant. I love the
romance.
Spanish comedies. They do comedy well.
I
That's
wasn't
manic.
I wasn't laughing much in this movie, but I was sighing quite a bit. And
Like an old lilo that's been punctured.
I don't understand what he meant by that.
Not at all.
That's
But
his
anyway,
own language.
from Spain to Switzerland.
Yeah.
And I believe, Mark, you had a chance to have a look at Hilde's journey. I did too.
Yes, yes.
And what did you think of it?
Wow, it was a movie to begin with, and I'm usually impressed with that. And there was Swiss people in it,
Really?
and I was really quite looking forward to it. I quite enjoyed stereotypes, I hate to say, such as the tall blonde. Unfortunately, I was thinking more like vegetables and the Swedes.
The Swedes?
Yes.
No, not wrong part. That's a bit, yeah.
Anyway,
Enough about root vegetables.
Sie wissen sicher, was eine Ausschlagung ist.
I found this movie, it was nice. It was nice to see a foreign film about gay men, a road trip nonetheless, all about a dead person, now ash, in an urn, taking a road trip. It's not a comedy.
No, I thought when I saw Ashes and Road Trip, I thought comedy. Oh, but yeah, it's not, is it?
a black comedy.
Not even a black comedy. I mean, I laughed when I watched it, but I was horrendously drunk first time around.
You're not supposed to admit to that.
I'm sorry, I'm an alcoholic.
I've got to say,
Yeah.
I've got to say, I thought, yeah, some of the elements were a tad cliched and much used. I mean, you had the whole gay will left by the gay man being usurped by the parents and challenged legally. You had the road trip, including stopping at European versions of the Roadhouse, which is, you know, the road trip and this journey, this personal journey, as well as the physical journey happening. The interesting about this film was it was involving the two previous partners, not just like one partner was involved, but two previous partners of the deceased.
Which is really weird.
That must have been complicated.
You'd think so, but not really. This is not a complicated film. It's an age film, ironically enough, and it's quite unusual because we've had a real large period where we haven't had the road trip gay movies, we haven't had the gay films come out, and
No, early 90s. I think.
early 90s,
Yeah.
and I think the European countries are finally trying to catch up to what has already been done in other parts of the world. I think everyone who hasn't done it before are now doing it.
No, it's always so. You so often find the you know, the old money straight types, the heterosexual mother, considering it her right, and she's on the moral high ground to have her son's ashes back. But it's interesting to see the real reason behind wanting the ashes back.
And it was a
Something
real
you're not gonna give
reflection.
that away, are you?
No, but it was a real reflection on the corporate machine. She really was, and her brother.
Well, exactly. He was her lawyer, you know, acting in her defence.
Actually, I might like to go and see this.
It wasn't bad.
Yes.
There's a few things that you haven't said
It wasn't
that I
bad.
want to know.
I mean, it's not the best film ever, but it's you know, it was a nice. It was a nice journey for the previous boyfriend as the main character. He had a choice to make. You know, respect his partner's wishes or go for the money, because he was offered a deal. And it was about his journey in overcoming the materialistic side. Whether he did or not, I won't allude to.
Okay.
But that one is session 56, 2 p.m. tomorrow, Friday the 10th of March. What do you give it out of 10, Mark?
I would give it 5 out of 10, but go see it. It's not bad. I've seen worse. There are worse out there, trust me.
Very much so.
Definitely go see it if you're in a serious mood,
But not pissed.
but not pissed. But you will have a laugh.
Sevigne, the Spanish story. That's session 57, 4 p.m. tomorrow, the 10th of March. And what do you give it out of 10, Harriet?
Look, in the way I saw it, you know, in the comfort of my own home reviewing, in a movie theatre, this is going to be something rather special to see. So I'm going to be sort of, it's between 6 and 7.
Okay, not a problem.
6.5.
6.5, funnily enough. And Dizzy DeBucco, take a deep breath. I think an 8 out of 10. I was really quite taken. Margaret?
Okay.
I mean, Harriet?
I don't think so. I haven't got earlobes.
Haven't you?
No,
Oh.
they're only little.
Oh, we can get a transplant for you.
Would you like
We
one,
will
mate?
be... It's lovely. Okay, we'll be back after this to talk Oz Shorts right here on Studio Q. Stay with us. And welcome back to Studio Q. And as we said, we're going to talk a bit of Oz Shorts now, one of the continually most popular packages in the whole festival. And to do so, we're joined by David Moore, director of one of this year's entries, Crash. David, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, how long have you been in filmmaking?
I've been making films since I was 14, but I stopped for a long time and started a design business because that's what I was good at. And then, you know, about 5 years ago, I sort of thought, oh, this is not what it is for me. So I actually applied for VCA and got in at VCA, and so I've been making films continually, you know, a couple of films a year now for the last 5 years. So.
It's pretty competitive getting in there, isn't it, into VCA?
It is, yeah. It is very competitive, but it's, you know, it's because they do actually produce really, you know, good storytellers.
So we're making films since 14. Is this on the old video, like Super 8 cameras? And
No,
I'm not implying you look that age or anything, but
it was, and editing it myself, and it was, you know, you had to send it off to a lab in the city, and because I come from a country town, and wait for it to come back and actually sit and chop the whole thing up, and you know, and then send it back to a lab to get transferred to video, and it took quite a while to do that.
So you mentioned that you actually come from a country town. Where did your idea come from for Crash?
Really from my childhood experience of living in a country town, particularly because my oldest friend was very openly gay. He used to just cop it all the time, and being in a country town, it's very small town mentality. And even though I love living in the country, I never liked actually living in the actual with people. And I must admit, I actually got on a train the night that I graduated from school. I got on the midnight train to escape from the city to the city because I just couldn't wait to get out of there.
And did your parents know you were leaving?
Oh yeah, they knew. Yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, I was 17 and came to the city and got a job.
So I suppose the footy culture depicted in Crash is pretty much what you experience. I mean, it's one of the biggest social parts of life in the country, isn't it?
Certainly in the country, it's like one of the big social aspects of it. And funnily enough, I was never into that scene at all. I was always into arts and music and movies and things like that. But and you know, I don't think my parents were never disappointed because, from that respect, because they knew what I did, I liked. But you know, it was the thing, if you weren't in the football team, you weren't popular. You know, it was as simple as that.
And you pegged as a bag or whatever.
You had a story to us before we started filming about your friends and people in the country town and the GLBTI community.
Yeah.
You want to share a little bit of that?
Well, from the point of view of how when he moved back there, so I mean, my oldest friend, we've known each other for 25 years, and we both moved to the city, and he had to come back to the country because his father was killed in a tragic accident, and he needed to take over the family business. And he lived there for 6 years before he discovered the gay community, and I couldn't believe that it took him that long. And it was only because he went shopping at 11 o'clock at night and discovered two old queens shopping in the fruit aisle that he actually sort of skipped over and said, "Can I have your phone number?" But I mean, that's submerged.
So that's pick up night at Coles Tamworth, is it?
No, that's right.
Thursday night.
But you know, so yeah, it is. It's pretty scary that it's that submerged. The culture actually has to be that submerged for its own safety.
So you're saying that you weren't a football fanatic at school and you're into arts and so on. So why
AFL, particularly being from Tamworth?
I mean, I think because I actually wanted to explore the issues of, you know, when young men come out and those sorts of things, and how it isn't okay, specifically in in a country town, because it's like, as I said to you before we come on camera, that I used to go out with my friend, and we go to pubs, and we used to people come up, these big burly guys come up and say, we bash poofters here, and it's like, we weren't kissing, we weren't holding hands, we were just enjoying a quiet drink, hello, so it was an issue that I actually wanted to explore, but it seemed the way to do that was, to actually do it through the culture, being the football. And as I said, it is interesting from that point of view, that it seemed to me that there's often, the most good-looking sort of sporty ones actually are gay, and there's more cases of that coming out now. And I watched a lot of, gay culture films, and it's always the nerd coming on to, and I thought, I really want to break that.
You want the beautiful guy coming
onto the nerd.
And certainly because, this is an unlikely friendship in the first place. And so it meant that he was obviously really safe, to do that. And I was really lucky because Tony Ayres, who's the writer-director of Walking on Water, really, was fantastic and gave me a lot of script advice and a lot of his time, which was awesome. So.
The actors were so realistic. I mean, I was almost...
Did you find them all through college?
Well, Tom Budge actually has gone on to make The Proposition, the big Australian pitch, and he actually came on board saying, I'll do this as long as I don't have to cut my hair or do anything like that, because I've signed a contract, because he was going straight on that film. Christian, who was the good-looking sports hunk, that was only his first short film.
Wow.
He was from a theatre and studying theatre. And
what a start.
And considering that he was up against Tom, who's a very experienced, comes from children's television, Around the Twist, and lots of other things, and that he did really well.
Yeah, a very sensitive portrayal of the victim.
Speaking of the actors in general, now your short film's really quite hard hitting. It's a very bitter tale. What did the actors in regards to it think, or yourself in regards to the actual process, or what it was, the actual story?
Well, it was really, it's interesting you say that, because it actually was quite hard to find what the heart of the story was about, whether it was actually about the was it just about a coming out story, if it was actually about this friendship and the abuse that actually happens at the end, because ultimately it's a tragedy, because he's utterly betrayed, because Tom's character obviously is infatuated with the other character, and it could be construed that he maybe is gay too.
I thought so for a little bit.
Yeah, so from that point of view, but it actually took quite a while to find that heart of it, and it was interesting because we were talking about editing before, and how when you write a film, you write it 3 times, when you write it, when you actually direct it, and then when you edit it. And it was actually in the editing process that we had 2 versions where they were subtly different, but they actually changed the ending quite substantially, because we actually, in one version, we cut to the footage of them on the TV, and then come back and he kisses him, and it made it feel like he absolutely planned to do that. Whereas in the version that we actually went with, we just went straight to the kiss, which made it then feel like it was just something that happened. And it was interesting because it was, it is actually, he just felt that it was safe to do that, because he obviously couldn't express that aspect of himself with his friends, and for obvious reasons that we see.
Yeah, as usual, non-verbal say a lot more than the actual words.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautifully done.
So how long, it was only a 5-minute film, I mean, how long does it take to make a 5-minute film in real time?
That took about 5 or 6 months of writing, writing quite a few drafts, and as I said, feedback from my script people there. I've got a fantastic script supervisor by the name of Chris McGill and Hugh Burton, and Tony Ayres, seeing Tony as well.
It's great having someone of his stature on board,
And because he is obviously very busy with his new feature coming up as well, so I'm very fortunate that he had the time to do that.
Definitely.
And then we only had 2 days to shoot it, so
2 days.
Very quick to shoot it. So from that point of view, that's one of the reasons why it's actually very simply shot. It has 2 dolly shots, going in and then coming back.
But I think that makes it believable.
Yeah, and then just the actual football stuff, which we went and shot on video and then filmed off television, because I really wanted to make it feel like
Yeah.
we were watching a
Yes.
video.
Yeah.
And I love that texture. So a week in editing, a couple of weeks with the musician who Doug Gibson did a fantastic job with the music, and 1 day sound mix all over. So yeah, pretty quick.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I believe Crash has been in a few festivals now, a fair number.
Yes, it was in Manchester Commonwealth Film Festival last year, and then went on to San Francisco. Since that's been so San Francisco International, Montreal, the Hamburg Gay and Lesbian. It was in the Tabor Croatian International Shorts Program.
Wow.
So it's been quite a few. Yeah.
What was the reaction over there, somewhere like Croatia?
Well, funnily enough, I didn't know that they were screening it.
Oh.
They chose it, but for whatever reason, they didn't tell me. And
Great.
and I got in the mail this absolutely spectacular printed catalogue, and I think, oh, maybe they just sent it to me because you didn't get in, but we'll make you feel better by sending you this beautiful printed book. And then I open it up, and there it is. It's screened. So
Wow.
I don't know what the reaction was, and that's often the case because that goes off to other countries. You know that it's just screened. You've got the program if they send it to you, but that's about it. But
Okay.
in Montreal, it was on the closing night program, so obviously they thought highly enough. And there's a feature going around called Guys and Balls, which is a German film that's been in a couple of
Balls
the
is fabulous.
and,
Yeah, we've seen
and
that.
they put that before that. They put that my short before that film on.
Great coupling.
Which
Yes.
is good,
That's
yeah.
great.
Have you? I believe you've seen a few of the other films in the old shorts.
Yes.
Any from a cinematographic point of view,
Yeah.
with the eye you've got, any favourites or any views?
I really like Richard's film, Teen Christian Beach Party, which he actually shot in front of a blue screen.
I know, it was
and
great.
put, all those backgrounds. It's very kooky and great fun. And as I said to you before, Richard and I were in class together, so we actually made these films at the same time.
Certainly
Richard
got
worked
good-
on my film.
Yeah, certainly got a good sense of humour there.
And Mona Lisa was made at BC the year before I went, and it's an incredibly beautiful film and a very meaningful film as well.
Very much so.
And it's been very successful around the world.
I
So.
thought Mona Lisa was just a genre of today. I mean, at the moment, the federal government, in general, is now looking at domestic violence with the elderly and also in nursing homes and so on. Although there was no domestic violence, but the tension in that movie between the son and the mother was so palpable
Yes. Yeah.
that we were wondering. I was certainly, and just the story itself and the actors, they were just amazing.
Yeah,
And,
it's a beautiful
yeah,
film. Yeah, and it's
it
done.
is.
It won
The
the
music was
best
really
student
amazing.
film at the Melbourne International, not last year, the year before.
Yeah.
So it's done
So-
well.
And I like the
yes.
symbology, the way he brought in the icon symbology into the movie itself.
And it's really interesting to say that because I think the scene we're talking about is when the lamb is on the bed. And
Oh, that's
And the
Yes.
supervisor at the school was horrified at that idea and tried to talk him out of it, and he didn't want to do that. So
He wasn't a Kiwi then.
no, no. So I think that it was actually really the right thing to go with his instincts on that. So,
Yeah, what was the issue?
I just don't think that the supervisor thought it would work. I think he thought it was a bit too odd.
I thought it was the most powerful
Yeah, it
thing in the
was.
film.
It
Yeah.
was.
Sacrificial lamb.
Well, because he kept calling
The little lamb.
My dad used to call her the little lamb.
Yes,
So.
but she was also
And you could
sacrificed.
take
to
that
the
on so
lamb.
many levels.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the way I saw it. in a sense.
Well, David, thank you so much for joining us. And Oz Shorts, don't forget it. Catch it at session 70 on Saturday the 11th at 6 p.m. at Acme, and well worth a look as usual. Thanks so much, guys. David and my regular cohorts Harriet and Mark. And join us next week on Studio Q, Thursday night at 10:30. Why not? We'd like to see you then. Bye-bye for now.